right, well, big ramifications on New South Wales Parliament with a positive test for COVID-19 with the Agriculture Minister. Joining me live is New South Wales Energy and Environment Minister Matt Kean. Thanks for your time. We've seen footage of you quite close to your colleagues, so you're isolating now. Just explain what you've been told and what you'll be doing from here on in.
Yeah, so my partner, she's locked me in the spare bedroom and I'm taking a precautionary approach to this issue. Obviously, the Delta variant is very contagious. So I had contact with Adam Marshall at question time on Tuesday. I understand that was not in the period where he may have been infectious, but for an abundance of caution, I've gone and got myself tested this morning. My missus has locked me in the spare room. I'm here with my mate, the cat, and we're self-isolating until we get further health advice.
All right, well, we hope the cat's okay and you as well, of course. As for these people in isolation, we know Adam Marshall is just seeing a staffer at the Nats budget dinner on Tuesday has been notified by New South Wales they're a close contact. So they were at the Strangers Dining Room at Parliament House 22 June. That would make sense, would it not? You just spoke about, you know, how much this seems to be airborne and being passed on more quickly. That's going to be anyone in that dining room will be a close contact and have to do that 14 days?
Well, look, we've got the best health officials anywhere in the country and we're taking their advice. They're right on this and they're all over that function that happened on Tuesday night, the budget function. But let me say this, we've all got to do our bit to keep not only ourselves, our families, but the whole community safe. And that's why we're taking a precautionary approach to deal with this issue.
So Gladys Berejiklian and Brad Hazard, John Barilaro was our information. They were all in the room that night. You'd assume there'll be no special deals here. If a staffer was considered a close contact merely for being there and they were there as well, we could have, well, large swathes of the government all isolating for 14 days, it seems.
Well, again, we'll take the advice of the health officials. I was certainly concerned enough to send myself off to go get a COVID test and self-isolating until I get the result. And I'd imagine everyone else who's very aware of how dangerous this virus is will be taking similar precautions. But again, we'll be acting on the health advice. We've got Kerry Chant there. She's the best in the business. And let's follow the rules, the systems and processes that have kept us safe to this point and will hopefully keep us safe going forward.
Right, but just to clarify though, we wouldn't expect, you mentioned rules and systems in place, whatever applies to anyone in the state would still apply to the Premier?
Absolutely, it'll apply to all of us, from the most senior person in the state right down through to everyone. We want to do our bit to keep the community safe. That's why I've certainly taken a precautionary approach. I haven't been advised by health, but for an abundance of caution, I'm doing the right thing so that I can keep my community and my state safe.
Sydney avoiding citywide lockdowns. If that's not the case this time around, does that mean a new approach might be needed when Delta gets loose?
Well, who knows? Again, we'll take the advice of the health officials, but what we do know is this Delta strain is very contagious and easily transferable. So we'll take whatever steps necessary to keep the community safe. We'll be advised by the best health officials anywhere in the country, and no measure will be too strong to keep our community safe and stop people from getting this virus and ending up in hospital.
So when we do look at the various options available, though, you mentioned health advice. I mean, health advice is you can do this or you can do this, you can do this, different risk elements here. Do we need to rethink how we're dealing with this overall? And if there are, in New South Wales, for example, either now or in the very near-term future, everyone that is vulnerable to COVID is vaccinated, that think, well, maybe we can't just keep locking down when these cases emerge?
Well, the sooner we get the vaccinations rolled out across the community, the sooner we can open up the economy. A good health response is a good economic response. Now, the state government stands ready to assist the Commonwealth in rolling out the vaccines, but you can't get vaccinated if the vaccines aren't available. And right now, they're not available in New South Wales.
Is there any thought that maybe the federal government was too conservative on AstraZeneca? That could be in more arms by now?
Look, I'm not going to comment on the decisions that were taken a while ago. Those decisions were taken with the best information that was available at the time, but things have changed. Clearly, there are risks around the AstraZeneca vaccination for people under 50. We'll follow those health warnings, but for those over 50, we would encourage people to go and get the shot to make sure that they are doing their bit for themselves and for the community.
Well, I mean, over 60 is the official advice now. Over 50s can still get it, and particularly those second shots, just to clarify that. But look, we'll hear from the Premier soon. Appreciate your time. All the best to you and the cat, Matt Kean.
Thanks, Tom.